to RVR Closet. So I know I have already done a shifter comparison video, but I thought I could do another one and strictly focus on sequential shifters. I've added quite a few since the last time, and yeah, also have some old that can be used in sequential mode. So yeah, thought I'd go over my thoughts of different sequential shifters. I thought I could start out from the bottom and then climb upwards. So I will start with the TH8A shifter. You should never get this if you're considering getting a sequential shifter. This is really underwhelming in this mode, and yeah, I can try it here. So yeah, really not much to this in feel or sound or actually anything. It is like two pin springs pushing the rod back when you pull it and give it a bit of resistance, but yeah, really that's it. And considering the price, this is priced the same as an Aiologs shifter. It's really not worth it for the sequential shifting alone. So it's metal underneath, and also the insides, and top plate, and the top part is plastic. This is actually one of the Heusinkveld gear knobs I just put on it. You only get this round gear knob for this shifter. So some positive point on it. I guess that's like the last time. The pro of this shifter is the mounting, and you can actually mount it in any direction. And then you just unscrew the top plate a bit and you can spin the whole thing around. So that's a really clever thing with this shifter, that it can be mounted from any direction. But that's actually where the pro stops for this shifter when it comes to sequential. It doesn't really offer anything. I would rather just go out and buy like a used G27 shifter and just put some rubber bands between it, and you have a like at least as good or even superior sequential shifter for like 20 bucks. So yeah, don't go for the TH8A when it comes to sequential shifting. So after this one, I go to my Fanatec ClubSport SQ shifter. I've actually mounted this in a way making it impossible to change this to sequential mode. And that also speaks a bit for itself. I've never used this as a sequential shifter. I'm only using it as a H pattern. And I would say that's mainly what you should get this shifter for, not the sequential mode. It is better than the TH8A shifter when it comes to the sequential. A lot more resistance and a better feel to it. But yeah, not a great sequential shifter. It's also the most expensive shifter I have, counting the sequential shifter part. And yeah, I wouldn't get this for the sequential shifting alone. It's also a bit bulky, a bit harder to mount than some other shifters. You can mount it from multiple angles like this. I have used those nuts coming with it that goes into those slots running alongside the shifter, and that can be done from both the front, the sides and the back. And you also have an option to mount it from underneath the shifter itself, but yeah, it takes up some space and is a bit heavier and bulkier than many other shifters. I would say the biggest pro with Fanatec is the sequential shifter knob. That's actually really nice, and yeah, the best part with the sequential aspect of this shifter. Really substantial and nice. But otherwise, if you look for a sequential shifter, I would advise you to check somewhere else. Due to that I can't show you the sequential mode, I will cut in here a bit when I use it in sequential. It's a bit higher when you have it in sequential mode than in H-pattern. So from the Fanatec SQ we don't need to go a huge step. It stops here on the Heusinkveld Sequential Shifter. This shifter has some more pros to it. Those two are about in the same price range, so a bit more on the expensive side. There is a huge difference in size though, and that's a big pro with the Heusinkveld shifter. It's really compact. It's the tiniest shifter I have, and it's really no trouble finding a small spot for it on your rig to mount it. And it can also be mounted from different sides, so yeah, that's a big pro. It also offers a pretty nice feel when shifting. It uses ball springs, so there is quite a bit of a resistance, and then it let goes. And yeah, also some mechanical feel to it. And another thing I guess could be both pro and con, depending what you like. It is a quiet shifter. Just a small clicking, not much actually, and for me that's a con. I like more noisy shifters. So yeah, I guess it's both pro and con depending on how you like your shifters. One thing I don't like with this shifter is it actually quite a bit of flexing in the shaft or rod itself. Making it feel a bit sloppy. So yeah, and that has actually increased. It was a bit when I bought it, but not this bad. It has actually gotten worse when it comes to the flexing in the rod. So that's a minus or a con with this shifter. You also get some different, both this bent shaft, one shorter and one taller shaft or rod for this shifter, and also 3 gear knobs. They are pretty small and plastic and don't really feel that great, but it's kind of nice you get the different options with the shifter. But I would have liked to see a bit more substantial and heftier gear knob delivered with this one. Yeah, really solid construction, all metal, except for the gear knobs that you get with it. So really well built, really compact, and has some nice feeling to it. So yeah, that's my third pick on the list. So for the next one, here we have the DSD Pro Sequential Shifter. And yeah, here we also have a pretty compact unit. Takes up a bit more space on the length and height, but in the width it's still pretty compact. a nice sequential shifter, not in use anymore, so I guess you could get it pretty cheap in the used market. It has a really short throw, and depending on how hard you pull or push it, it can be a really quiet shifter. The thing that sounds is when the rod is hitting the bumpers or stops inside the shifter. So yeah, I'm really pushing and slamming those gears in because I like to hear it. But yeah, in the mechanism itself it's a bit quiet. But yeah, it has a pretty nice resistance to it, and yeah, I'm like using this. One difference to this one is that the resistance is more constant on this one. Like it's about the same pull the whole time. If you compare that to like the Heusinkveld, where it is really high in resistance in the beginning, and once you follow through that ball spring, it gets light. So that's a difference in this one. Metal casing, some plastic on top and underneath, and also the rod is plastic, but really hefty and nice gear knob. Can also be mounted from both sides, so that's good. And yeah, fourth on my list of shifters. And so from the DSD Pro Sequential we go up here, and yeah, this is a shifter that scored really well on my last comparison video as well, with the focus more on edge pattern, and that's the SHH shifter. It's 3D printed, so it's plasticky and a bit rough in the textures. Also you get two different gear knobs, really not much to keep. They are like really light, and in this kind of 3D plastic, so yeah, never used those, but otherwise this is a really nice shifter, and it's actually my cheapest one, not comparing it to the DSD that will probably be a bit cheaper due to that it has to be bought used, but yeah, really nice. I like the clunkiness of this shifter. Also has a pretty nice resistance, and then when it lets go, it's lighter in the resistance. It has to be mounted from the back like this. That's a bit of a con, that you don't have many mounting options on it. This sequential top plate is also an add-on, I think for 8 or 10 bucks or so. You can get that with it. Works really well, and I have had it for a few years now, so the quality of it is really nice. Really nice, and a cheap alternative for a sequential shifter. So, moving from the SHH to my first pick, and that's the Aiologs Shifter. This is also a really compact unit. Looks really nice. With the Aiologs logo in front, and also this windows. You can see the mechanisms inside. And also this red LED light. Yeah, you can see here it has 2 strong springs in it, and also 2 of those ball springs making the clicky sound. And yeah, really positive click and resistance in this shifter. Really snappy and really nice tactile feedback. Also a really nice gear knob, new for 2020, the black, and a bit bigger than the old one. Can be mounted from both the sides or underneath. And also a big pro of the Aiologs shifter is the price. It's a really nice sequential shifter for the money. And yeah, definitely my first pick if you are looking for a sequential shifter. Go for the Aiologs shifter. Really, really nice. I will also do this rubber band test on every shifter here. For the Fanatec one, I have to cut in this test. There it goes over. So yeah, that sums up my shifter comparison. Hope it can be useful for someone looking for sequential shifters, and hope you liked the video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.
Whispering ghosts are hiding.